I bring to you an interesting edition, in fact, the maiden of the Fourth Estate with Adiola. Welcome to this program today. On my podcast today, I have a beautiful damsel. That's how I will call her. On this program, this beautiful damsel is here, to take us, along her journey in the profession. That's journalism. You'll get to hear her voice. She will introduce herself. Welcome to my podcast.
Good afternoon. It's good to be here with you.
Can we meet you?
Okay, my name is Oyebola Owolabi, and I'm a journalist. I write for the Nation newspaper.
Good to have you on this podcast, Oyebola.
Thank you very much.
I like your smile.
Thank you.
Actually, we're going to make it as interesting as possible because people will be wondering why the Fourth Estate. Yes, people normally see us as the watchdog of the society. That's after the executive arm of government, the judiciary and the legislature. Who watches over us? Because we seem to be more on the side of the people. We make the government accountable to the people. That's why we have having this podcast today. So Oyebola, who watches over us? I know you've been in this profession for how long now?
I would say if you were to count my years as my years of internship, I'd say I would be counting over 10 years. And I think
that's a lot of experience actually. So what can you say has been your motivation, coming into this profession that is mainly seen as that of the male world?
Okay, so growing up, I like to tell people that I've always wanted to be a journalist, a reporter, a news person. And growing up, I loved to watch the NTA news back then, particularly to watch whenever the late Tokunbo Ajayi was broadcasting. Even if I was asleep, I remember my dad would wake me and tell me, "Bola, get up, your friend is on the news tonight." And I just loved that person then. So I think that was when I developed this interest in journalism, broadcasting and everything. And then I went to school, I studied mass communication, and then I studied mass comm, and then I went further and I did theatre arts. But I remember always telling my people that I was going back to the newsroom, no matter what, I was going back to the newsroom. And here I am in the print media, and I think I love it. I love the fact of storytelling, having to just report events and just tell people what is happening in society.
That's a lot, especially that your theatre arts aspect. I think I love that. So it's interwoven, right?
Yeah. It's actually. I used to tell it. I think I see it more like branches on the same tree. Even in theatre arts, you have media studies because you are disseminating information, albeit on the stage, like an immediate thing. In mass communication, you are disseminating information through. It's still the same. We all do the same thing, probably through different means or method, but it's still the same dissemination of information.
So it's the medium that matters, but the key thing is communication. Okay, right. So Oyebola, you said you have been on this job for 10 years, and that's a huge one, really. So what have been your challenges, especially, in a profession where people see it as that of the males?
Yes, it's one thing that has kept me going on this job, I must say, is the passion for it. One of the challenges that I would say is most common is the fact that, like you said, people see it as a male-dominated profession. Like if you go to most newsrooms, you hardly find women, females there. So, but the few ones there, there's this subtle, what's the word now? There's this subtle intimidation. But if you know what you are doing, if you have the ability to stand your ground. I remember starting up when I joined the print media fully. I started on the sub-editing desk, and you know what that means when a young lady on the sub-editing desk. I don't leave the office later than the earliest I can leave the office is maybe 11 p.m. So it was a big challenge getting home late at night, and then you have to get home alone. Of course, we still have to go through that once in a while now, but then one major challenge in being a female journalist is this thing of closing. There are actually no closing hours in journalism, because even when you get home, you still have to continue. You are thinking of the next thing, the next story, the next features to write, the next thing. So it's always this journalist, you're on the job 24/7. So you have to keep looking for opportunities to create time for yourself. Yes, that's another challenge. The timing, you have to create time for yourself, which is a very difficult thing in journalism because you have deadlines to meet. Every day you have a deadline to meet, and within that deadline, you still have to find time to create time for yourself, your family, your loved ones. So it's a big challenge creating time to relax, to get time for yourself and your families. And then the fact that if you are not too lucky, you might work with the wrong set of people, and then I really don't want to go deep, but I think but then I think it's all professions have their challenges. Yeah, all professions have a challenge, but journalism is one that I see that at least if you were a banker, by 1:60 p.m. you are closed for the day. You leave your work document or whatever at home in the office. But with journalism, your head is working around the clock. Who is the next person I can interview to get to break the story, to do this and do that? So
is there any time you have been embarrassed on this job? And if there are times like that, can you just share one with us?
A lot of the time. I think it's safe to say journalism comes with embarrassment actually. Because one, being a lady, you're already disadvantaged. Number two, you are a petite stature. That's another thing. And then you go for events, people see you. I don't know if I should say people see us and then they are intimidated or something, because they have once you mention I'm a media person, then this aggression towards you, and you feel like I'm not here to harm or hurt anybody. Why this aggression? Or probably if you gaining access to events and everything, there's this push and pull, there's this drag, and then you now begin to wonder, I got a formal invite to this event. Why are you telling me I cannot access the venue of the event? So it's a lot of things actually. You meet people that you naturally expect to understand what it takes to be on the job, and then when you get there you get something else entirely and you are free. I remember I used to tell some of my senior colleagues that I don't like going to a particular place alone because I don't want to answer unnecessary questions. So I would love to wait for senior colleagues on the field that we can go together, because I don't want to get angry because how can I leave the comfort of my own bed and come to your event and then you're asking me questions as if I came here to get crash. I don't get crash events. I only come because I was invited officially. So I wouldn't want to get to the gate and then you begin to ask me questions. It gets me angry, and I would rather wait for senior colleagues. I know they will be the ones to answer. Then I'll use their influence and then enter.
Okay, so if there's something you wished to change in the profession, what's that thing?
If there's one thing I would love to change about the profession, I think it's for journalists to get more respect and acceptance in the society.
So
whether we like it or not, journalists wield very big powers. But it's unfortunate that here in this part of the world, we really don't recognize such powers. But if we have that understanding as journalists, we can make or mar any society. So people should give more respect to journalists. Because at the end of the day, we do a lot to calm nerves. We do a lot to prevent so many chaos, if I may put it that way.
Let me ask you this question. Are you married? You're not married? Okay.
No, I'm not married.
Okay. So has this profession in any way affected your family life? Let me just put it that way.
No. I wouldn't say it has affected my family life, because one thing is, if it's something you are passionate about, you find a way to balance whatever it is you are doing. Like I said earlier, time is a very big challenge in journalism. But if it's something you are passionate about, you find a way to balance both. And it's an interesting field also, because as journalists, even as you are working, you're also actually catching fun on the job most times. So it depends on your mindset. Like I said, if you have a passion for it, if you are so much interested, you don't see the challenges or the stress as such. You see them as things that you need to do to get along on the job, and then you flow, you get with the flow, and then your family life is not affected because you are able to balance both.
So in a nutshell, for the upcoming ones, what do you advise them to do?
Okay, for those coming on, I would first of all tell them you must have that interest in journalism, particularly in Nigeria. There must be, because it's not easy to break through a brick wall, and you must have that interest, because your editor might just get up one day and tell you, what is this you have written? Just says no peace, and then the toil and the sweat of almost a week is rubbished in 10 minutes. So that would definitely discourage you, I must tell you. But if you have that innate, inborn interest, passion, you see it as a challenge to keep going further and further. Then number 2 is you must be prepared for any eventuality in journalism. I remember I've slept in the office so many times. During COVID, when most people were at home, when there was a lockdown, journalists were going to the office. So we are also frontliners. We are frontline workers. So anything can happen anytime, and then you are called upon to show up. What do you do? But if you have that passion and you have that interest, you find a way around it.
Thank you so much, Oyebola, for this wonderful interview.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, I've been speaking with, I told you, she's a damsel, she's beautiful. Her name is Oyebola Wolabi from the Nation newspapers. You have heard her. There's one thing I'm taking away from this. She has said if you want to go into journalism, especially as a woman, you have to have the passion, the interest, and you must be prepared at any time because the profession does not have closing time. That's how I will put it. So on this program today, that's how it's going to be. I thank you all for listening. Till I bring another special guest on the program next time, I remain Adeola. Thank you for listening.